I just remembered. Okay, so harmonic scanner is 50% of the work done for you, right? When you look at harmonic pattern, you can't just go onto harmonic scanner, log in, click the first thing that comes up, and boom, enter the trade. You've got to think of harmonic scanner as a trade idea. It's like 50% of the work is done for you, then you've got to do the other 50%. Whether you want to add your own strategy on top, or use harmonic scanner for confirmation, or use the strategy I'm going to show you, it's completely up to you, but just make sure you're not using harmonic scanner on its own to make trades, because you're going to more than likely lose, right? Or you'll win, but it will just be all over the place. Like it might be 50-50 sort of thing. So you're going to get a better win rate, like 85%, 90%, if you're using an extra 50% of your own confirmation or a strategy, that sort of thing. So what I want to go over with you guys is a strategy called, I think it's BRS, RBS, BRS, something like that, right? So it stands for Bollinger Bands, RSI, and Stochastic. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this strategy. It's on YouTube. I think Gary McSween talks about it. Chairman, is it 100? Yeah, something like that, right? So he goes over this strategy, and I was looking at it this morning, and I was like, okay, this is making a lot of sense, right? So all you do is you load up your harmonic scanner. It's already got the RSI at the bottom. So this squiggly blue line you can see at the bottom, that's harmonic scanner RSI, right? Then when you go to add the Bollinger Bands, you literally click on this icon here. So it's like the chart with the little line thing, and it will say indicators, right? Click on that. Then it's going to come up with all of these different indicators. You're going to type in Bollinger Bands. So if you've never used Bollinger Bands before, they come up on the chart like this. They're like literally big balloon band things that come around the chart. All these bands show is where price is like contracting and squeezing, and then when it's breaking out. So if you zoom in here, right, just as an example, you can see here that price really squeezed and then it just broke out, right? So Bollinger Band is like an indicator of where breakouts are going to happen. So if you see it squeezing, you know that a breakout may be imminent or it might happen soon. So you'll find that price kind of bounces in between these bands sort of thing, right? So what I'm going to look at now is I'm going to add the stochastic. Like I said, the RSI is already there. Don't know why I'm writing in capitals. Okay, cool. Then you've got stochastic, right? So stochastic is kind of like RSI, but there's two lines. So they're both the same sort of thing. They both show when the market is overbought and oversold. So with RSI, if you look at it on the side, let me just move my thing across. So if you look at it, what we've got right now, when price comes above these lines, it means it's being bought so much that it's been overbought. So when something's overbought, what are the market's going to do, the bank's going to do? They're going to start selling it, right? So it's like an indication that because so many people have been buying it, it's become overbought, and now the banks are going to look to start selling it. So there's like an indication that it's going to start going down. Exact same thing, vice versa. If it comes down below this region, then it means that banks are going to start buying it, right? It's the same thing with stochastic, overbought, oversold. Only difference is stochastic has two moving averages rather than one, right? So now that you've got all the indicators set up, first thing you need to do is change the RSI number to 7. So it will be set on 14. So you change the length to 7, and then with stochastic, you just change the numbers to 5, 3, and 3. So you don't want the original settings. This is really important. You need to change the RSI to 7, stochastic to 5, 3, and 3. I'll put all this in the chat afterwards in case anyone needs it. And then you're looking at, right? So now you're looking for your entry point. This strategy requires three things to be met for you to enter the trade, right? Number one, I'm gonna highlight them while I go through it. Okay, number one, the price needs to pierce the Bollinger Band. So see right now how the candlestick literally came out of the band, pierced it, and then started retracing back up, right? And it touched the entry point. That is number one. It needs to be met. So the Bollinger Band needs to be pierced. Number one, right? Number two, the RSI needs to be below this level. So it needs to be below. If you're looking to buy it, it needs to be below this level. So let's thing it here as well. Like how it is right there. Then stochastic needs to be crossing over. Okay, cool. That is the 3 things that you need to look for this strategy to then enter the trade, right? So number one, you've got the band needs to be pierced, the Bollinger Band needs to be pierced by the price. Number 2, the RSI needs to be below the dotted line. If you're looking for a buy, if you're looking for a sell, obviously it needs to be above the dotted line, vice versa. So right now, guys, we're looking at a buy, so everything will have to be below. If we were looking at a sell, so if the harmonic scanner was showing us a sell, we'd be looking for RSI and stochastic to be above these lines, right? Just put a 3 in the chat box if you're with me right now and you know what I'm talking about and you're getting it. It's making sense. Yeah? Okay, cool. Okay, everyone's with me. Okay, perfect. So when all of these 3 things are met, so stochastic, they need to cross over. So one line needs to go above the other, right? So the blue would need to go above the red in this case. If it was the other way around, the red would need to be above the blue if we were looking for a sell. So all of these 3 things are met in this case. So what would we do? We'd enter the trade. Right now, we would have been in profit. Let's see how many pips. Right now, you would have been in profit if you entered the trade. So you'd have been in 37 pips profit just by those 3 confirmations already, like in the space of 20 hours, like literally doing hardly any work, just looking at those confirmations. This is why I say to everyone, you know, make sure that you're using harmonic scanner to your strength, because it really works. It would have hit take profit 1 just about already. When you're looking at harmonic scanner, guys, I would recommend everyone to go for take profit 1. When you hit take profit 1, so it obviously gives you the take profits, right? So you got your stop loss, you got your entries, you got your take profits. When you're going for take profit 1, you can either take some of your trade out and leave the rest running, or you can leave the whole thing running, but just make sure your stop loss is in break even when you get to take profit 1. Or you can just take the whole trade out. It's really up to you. Just make sure you're using risk management with this. Don't use, forget risk management because it's a harmonic scanner trade and it's not your own trade. Make sure you're implementing risk management with this. It's the most important thing. And you're making sure that, your stops are always at least break even, so that you're not looking at losing money for no reason. Let's say, for example, if news happens, well, you're already in the trade, but there's news tomorrow. So just make sure that your stops at a break even to avoid any lost money for no reason. And yeah, just keep your profits long. Like, don't go for only take profit 1 if you really think that your analysis is adding up with it as well and you think it's going to go to take profit 3 later on. Don't cut your winners and let your losers run. Just make sure you're letting your winners run and cutting your losses, right? I wouldn't enter this trade right now because it's already, it's gone past entry. It's already hit take profit 1. So there's no point in really entering this one right now. You can if you want, and you can go for take profit 2, but it's already gone past entry point, so it's kind of defeated the whole point of it. So I would just wait for next week on Monday, Sunday night, see what other harmonic patterns come in, and just again do this strategy and see if there's any confirmed. Realistically, just enter when it's an entry price. Like, don't wait for it to start going through and then enter it. Just wait. Like, there's no point in entering trades for fun or just because you don't want to miss out, sort of thing. Just wait for it to be an entry. If you miss it, you miss it, is what it is. You just wait for the next trade, right? But yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys. Does anyone have any questions about anything to do with harmonic scanner, the strategy? Is everyone getting it? I'm going to be using this next week only. Like, I'm not going to be trading my own. I'm literally just going to be doing this strategy to show you guys how good it is. But if anyone has any questions, just literally put it in the chat box. If not, I will leave it here for everyone to, enjoy their night. And then hopefully come Monday, we'll all be doing, the same trades, entering the same trades, getting the same pips, getting this money. But yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I just recorded this, so it'll be recorded. I'll put it in the chat afterwards. But yeah, guys, okay, cool. I'll leave everyone to it. If anyone does have any questions at all, just give me a message afterwards. Like I said, this is recorded, so I will put it in the chat as well. I hope everyone learned something from this. Guys, the strategy is really simple. Like, please use it to your ability. And I will see you all later.